All right, folks, so this is a big one, a little unexpected. The Model 3 Standard is here. It's under this wrap. We're gonna open it up right now. This is a Gjeebs first world premiere. There it is, folks. Take a good look. Now, under this wrap right here is the Model Y Standard. I'm going to do a separate video on this. It will be on my channel, linked at the end of this video. But they have stripped a bunch out of this to make it cheaper. That's what everyone's been asking for, and it's finally here. I'm gonna show you all of the things that they've done. I'm gonna reveal the range. I'm gonna show what they changed, and I'm gonna tell you what it costs here shortly. So let's get it fully unveiled, and we'll start with the exterior. It does still have a charge port. They did not go with a 4-cylinder in this, so it still has charging. Max charging speed on these new standard models is 225 kilowatts. So that is a slight difference, whereas the premium versions have 250 kilowatt peak charging speed. So 225, still very solid. Now, what you'll notice right away, new wheel covers. These are the most efficient wheel covers ever produced for the Model 3. And surprisingly, the tires that they put on the Model Y actually have the least rolling resistance of any tire that was ever produced by Tesla, or any tire that Tesla ever used on a production vehicle. You would think it's the Model 3, but the Model Y actually takes the cake for that. So slightly different wheel covers on these 18-inch wheels. They also offer a 19-inch wheel, and that will be a $1,500 upcharge. Pearl White will be a $1,000 upcharge for color, Stealth Gray will be the free color, and Diamond Black will be a $1,500 upcharge. Also, the Model 3 Standard makes 286 horsepower, and the Model Y makes 300. We'll talk about the interior in a minute. Let's get this thing fully unwrapped. Coming around the back here, the Tesla lettering is now blacked out for you, which I think is really cool. Overall, though, not a ton of design change in the back. You still have the same lights and all of that stuff here. I'm gonna take this home and use it as a blanket. Just pop this in the back seat. There we go. All right, so I wanna show you some things they've stripped out. We'll start with the Frunk. Open this up. Also, blacked out badge from the factory. That's cool. And before we go to the Frunk, let's go down to floor 1. Oh, finally, we have the forward-facing camera on this thing. I would also like to let you guys know I spoke to a head of Model Y. He actually has pull with the company. It's not just us on Twitter saying, can you please add this? He actually has pull. And I said, as an owner of a Model 3 that doesn't have the front-facing camera, if you guys can consider it in any way to make that a retrofit where you can take it to Tesla and pay and they'll put a front-facing camera. I did ask him that specifically. He obviously couldn't promise anything, but I did communicate with that to them because that would be amazing to be able to retrofit that on the older Model 3s that don't have it. Let's open up the Frunk. Okay, so this is big. The Frunk is exactly the same on the standard Model 3. It's different on the Y, which I'll show in a separate video. So this is all unchanged. So I'll have you go around the other side. We'll show the interior. Now, the interior, it is changed. So the interior on this is vegan leather. Oh, it still smells like the first time. It's vegan leather. And then we have this textile insert. So this was developed for the Cybertruck and the the Tesla Semi. Highly durable material and breathable material. They have removed the cooled seats. You still have heated seats in the front, but in the back, no soup for you, no heated seats in the rear. Now, I'm not gonna hold out too long. Let's talk about the price. The price on this, $36,990. It's not 35, it's not 25, but you know what I've realized in life? If it was 30, people would ask for 25. If it was 20, people would ask for 15. If it was free, people would want to pay. No matter what price they put it at, people are going to complain. But ultimately, I think they are going to sell a ton of these because the Model 3 has trimmed out a bunch, but not as much as the Model Y. And I think potentially this is actually the better value. So $36,990, 303 miles of range on the 19-inch wheels and 321 miles of range on the 18-inch wheels. So that's excellent. Tesla is also no longer going to be producing vehicles that have under 300 miles of range, and I think that that is excellent. The usable pack size in this is 69 kilowatt hours. So that's also very good. So Yes, they reduced the top end charging speed, but the pack is smaller. It reduced the weight of the vehicle. I have the weight at the bottom of the screen. I can't remember. It's on the spec sheet. So still a good value. The other thing is this has a glass roof still. The Model Y does not. It has a glass roof, which I'll talk about in that other video, but it's blocked out. So this still has the premium feature of having the glass roof. Now, Tesla has deleted a lot of things from this vehicle, but one thing you want to delete is your information from the internet, and that's why today's video sponsor is Delete Me.
Delete Me is a hands-free subscription service that will remove your personal information that's being sold online. Since I started using Delete Me 2 years ago, they have scanned thousands of listings with my information, like phone number and address, and removed it from 28 sites, saving me a ton of time and keeping my information private. Delete Me starts by having you fill out a profile of your name, common spellings, your phone number, address, or previous addresses you've lived at to find your information that data brokers are selling. These data brokers organize your data and then license it to sell to other data brokers or organizations who can profit from your data. Delete Me will generate your first report, and it can take a few days all the way up to a month to get your information removed from the internet. The best part is they keep removing your information every 3 months when it pops up on websites. Plus, as more data brokers sites pop up, Delete Me will add them to their list and make sure your information is removed. I just received my 8th report showing where my information has been removed from and where they are working on getting it removed. So Delete Me is offering Gjeebs viewers 20% off Delete Me US consumer plans when you go to joindeleteme.com/Gjeebs20 and use promo code Gjeebs20 at checkout, and there's also a link for international plans. Delete Me, thank you for sponsoring this video.
The other thing that's interesting is if you go down this list here, what are we missing? We're missing AM, FM radio. They actually took out the antenna to shave costs down in this thing. The other thing they did is look down here. There's no switches to be changing your seat adjustments. That is because it's been moved specifically to the screen. So if I click this button right here, it takes me to this screen, and I can actually use the scroll wheel to move the seat back and forth. And then if you scroll up, it rotates through what you're actually controlling with these gray dots, and then you can move the seat up. So you have all of the controls, but they've eliminated some buttons down here. That's one feature I actually don't like, simply because I'm not used to it. I've never had any car that has anything like this, so that is interesting. It does have the turn signal stock. So while they stripped a bunch out of the Y, they've added some things to the Model 3, and you can see why I'm saying it's maybe a slightly better value. So you do now have a turn signal stock, and you don't have to go to the steering wheel. They're being more consistent across their models with that. Click the button here. There it is. You got your front-facing camera and everything like that. So I'm just really happy that they did that. The other thing to note is the headlights on this are the same as the premium headlights on the higher trim Model 3s. So you have the Model 3 Standard, you have the Model 3 Premium, and you have the Model 3 Performance. That is the new nomenclature through the 3 and the Y lineup. So just to show you what a premium model has on it, you have these 3 buttons here, these 3 switches for your seat controls. And then when you move up here, you can see that there is no turn signal stock. And then if we move to the front of the car, currently there is no front-facing bumper camera, but on all models going forward from the premium trim, they will have that. This is a Model 3 Performance that I own, and it's just missing those features. It stinks the most that it doesn't have the front-facing camera. But again, I asked Tesla if they could add a front-facing camera as a retrofit, something you can take it to Tesla and get that done. That would be a huge help. So I would rather have that over the turn signal stock. I can get used to the switches on here, but ultimately, I'm happy they added the shift stock to the new entry-level Model 3. And another thing to note on this premium model, you can see the door pockets are still carpeted, so it's the same on the Model 3 Standard as it is on the top trim. Now, hopping into the back of this thing, I will say, these seats do not feel like a downgrade in any way. I actually like the material. It's breathable, it's durable. I don't think if you spill something on it, first of all, it's dark. I don't think it's going to stain, so that's good. But they've removed the 8-inch touchscreen back here, and you have these manual controls, which I actually like. You still have your USB-C charging here, and you still have a ton of space. Actually, there seems to be more footroom in this Model 3. Sometimes with the Model 3, it's just kind of crushed down here with your feet, but they've done a really nice job just continuing to have a bunch of space back here, and then you have your cup holders like this right here. And here's what the cup holders look like in the rear of the Model 3. Again, unchanged from the entry-level Model 3. Now, the other thing they've done here, we'll move around to the trunk area, is they've reduced the sound system. So you can see there's 2 holes back here for the subwoofers. I think it has about 7 speakers. It's not listed on the spec sheet. The Model Y has 7 speakers. And I was like, oh man, that's gonna be a shame, but it's actually not bad. The bass still sounded good. We tested it by using a Milli by Lil Wayne, check it out. And it actually still has like a full sound to it. Doesn't sound blown out like, you know, a bass RAV4 sound system. It's like, bah, plate frames rattling everywhere. So that's all good. So overall, like very impressed with the price of this is good, but there's still a ton of premium features on this. Let's look at the handy dandy notebook. Let's see if I missed anything here. So we'll do a little review session, okay? $36,990, 321 miles of range with the 18-inch wheels. The 18-inch wheels are called the Prismata. I think that's German. And then you go to the 303 miles with the 19-inch wheels. The weight of it, 3,759 pounds, which is less than the rear-wheel drive premium model at 3,891 pounds. You still get your 15.4-inch front row touchscreen. You have traffic-aware cruise control, but you don't have auto steer, which is interesting. But you can still get full self-driving on this, and that's great. So Tesla, what they did at their core, what's great about owning a Tesla is the security system. The app is great. It has full self-driving capability. They're quick. This does 0 to 60 in 5.8 seconds, so it's still a quick vehicle. So what Tesla's goal was with this is strip out as much as possible, but maintain what makes owning a Tesla great, and I think they've done an excellent job of that. Let's look back at our notes. 225 kilowatt max charging speed, vegan. The suspension on this. So it is a standard multi-link suspension. Now, when you move up to the premium version, it has an advanced multi-link suspension with frequency-dependent damping, so it will adjust based on the road surfaces that you're on. Now, I haven't driven this yet, so I'm going to have my driving review on the channel, so make sure you're subscribed with your notifications on, because then you can see me actually driving this thing. Now, the other thing we need to talk about is the glass on this. So on these front windows, you still have the acoustic glass right here, but when you move to the rear of the vehicle, it just has the single pane glass. It does not have the acoustic glass. And then here is the rear window of my Model 3 Performance. You can see it has the double layered acoustic glass even on the rear. So overall, I think they've done a really nice job with the Model 3, but we need to check out the Model Y. And if you want to see what they've removed from the Model Y, you can click this video right here. And thank you to Delete Me for sponsoring this video. But check this video out where I talk about the Model Y and some of the things they've removed.